The first thing people noticed was the silence. In a diner usually loud with clinking plates and careless laughter, a sudden heaviness settled in the air when the biker gang leader walked in, leather jacket scarred by years of roads and storms, eyes sharp like he had seen too much of the world to be surprised anymore. The waitress froze for half a second as she reached the table, and that was when he saw them, dark bruises climbing her wrist, fading fingerprints on her arm, marks that didn't belong to accidents. In that moment, something old and buried stirred in him, something that had nothing to do with fear or power and everything to do with pain. Before the story truly begins, if you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the idea that even the most unexpected people can do the right thing, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that remind us humanity still exists. The town had always feared the biker gang. They roared through the streets like thunder, their engines echoing against old brick buildings, their presence enough to make shopkeepers lock doors and parents pull their children closer. At the center of it all was the leader, a man whose name alone carried rumors of violence and crime, a man people assumed had no room left in his heart for compassion. But what most didn't know was that long before the leather vest and the scars, he had been a kid who learned too early what bruises meant, who grew up in a house where silence was survival and pain was routine. He had run from that life, straight into another kind of darkness, telling himself strength meant never feeling anything again. The waitress didn't say a word. She moved from table to table with practiced efficiency, eyes lowered, smile faint and rehearsed. Every step she took looked careful, like her body was constantly bracing for impact. The biker leader watched quietly, noticing how she flinched when a plate clattered, how she instinctively covered her arm when someone reached too close. He didn't stare to intimidate her like others might have expected. He watched because he recognized the signs, because once upon a time, someone had noticed his bruises too, and done nothing. The diner itself was a tired place, worn booths and faded photographs of better days lining the walls. It was the kind of place where people came to forget their problems for half an hour. But for her, it was just another stop in a long day of surviving. She worked double shifts, smiled through exhaustion, and went home to a place that never felt safe. Every bruise carried a story she never told, every shift another reminder that the world rarely stepped in when it should. As the biker gang ate, the rest of the diner stayed tense, eyes darting, whispers floating just below the surface. No one noticed the way the leader subtly positioned himself so he could see the door, the counter, and the waitress all at once. No one noticed how his jaw tightened each time someone snapped their fingers at her, how his hands curled when a man laughed too loudly as she passed. To the town, he was still a threat. To her, he was just another customer, until he wasn't. When she came to clear the table, her sleeve slipped just enough to reveal a fresh mark, darker than the others. The biker leader felt a flash of anger so sharp it surprised even him. Not the reckless kind that led to broken bones and police sirens, but something colder, more focused. He paid the bill in full, left more than necessary, and watched as she noticed the tip, confusion flickering across her face. Still, she said nothing. She never did. What happened next didn't involve shouting or fists, and that was what shocked the town the most. The biker gang didn't cause chaos. They didn't threaten anyone. Instead, the leader came back the next day. And the day after that. He sat quietly, ordered coffee, and made sure she was never alone when her shift ended. Soon, the gang's bikes were parked outside the diner every night, not as a warning, but as a shield. Word spread fast in a small town. People whispered, speculated, waited for violence that never came. The men who hurt her noticed too. He noticed the bikes. He noticed the way eyes followed him now, the way the diner no longer felt like a place where no one would intervene. For the first time, fear shifted direction. The biker leader never touched him. He didn't have to. His presence alone was enough to send a message louder than any threat. This town might have been afraid of bikers, but it had learned something new. Monsters don't like being watched. Slowly, things began to change. The waitress started standing a little straighter. The bruises faded, replaced by something fragile but real, relief. One night, with shaking hands, she asked for help. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just enough. The biker leader listened. He connected her with people who could protect her in ways he never had growing up. Lawyers. Shelters. Quiet solutions that didn't make headlines but saved lives. When the truth finally surfaced, the town was stunned. The men they feared had become the reason a young woman survived. The diner felt lighter. People talked differently. Some even thanked him, awkwardly, unsure how to reconcile the legend with the reality. He didn't stay to receive praise. That was never the point. He just rode out one morning, engines fading into the distance, leaving behind a story no one would forget. Before this story ends, if it touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it, and subscribe. Your support helps stories like this reach people who need hope the most. And just before the ending, we have a special request for you. Comment below with the word kindness if you believe one act of courage can change a life. The waitress still works at the diner. Sometimes she looks at the empty space where the bikes used to park and smiles. Not because she misses the fear, but because she remembers the moment someone saw her pain and chose to do something. The town still talks about that biker leader, but differently now. Not as a threat. As proof that redemption doesn't always look clean, and heroes don't always look the way we expect. And in a world that often looks away, that story continues to matter.